Thank you very much, Seltzer and Co. It is time for the United States of America to take on Germany. Two teams in rather differing positions amongst this group. I think it's safe to say, Lee, we haven't had to see much from the US. Whereas I think Germany, speaking to me, they said they expected to be very strong against Russia, and they definitely fell short of their own expectations.
Yeah, the US against Chile was a very one-sided affair. It wasn't really a test of their character, test of their strength. Seagull just going off, having fun. They kind of styled it a little bit and enjoyed the game. For Germany themselves, though, they did have a real tough time against Russia. And, of course, they struggled to close it out. And in the end, Russia took the win over them, which puts Germany in a precarious situation. They really have to pick up a win here if they want a hope of getting through. Obviously, we were talking about it yesterday being almost a decider because USA were the big favorites. But of course, it was played on Hanamuра on Route 66, which we're going to be playing today. For Germany, unfortunately, they were unable to cap out the B side. They weren't able to complete Hanamura. They didn't get themselves a time slot in there, whereas Russia did, of course. So
sometimes B side can play hard to get. It's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. But I like the point Jason brought up about Germany is that they have two predominantly hit scan players in Artier and Eisfeld. Artier did play Genji for Team Dignitas for quite some time after Lynx sort of moved roles to more of a flexing situation, then moved back to Genji. So I don't mind that. I think he's actually a good Genji. He's a good Genji. Let's just make that clear. He's not like he can't play it, but again, he's going to be up against it against the US, who are playing McCree and Roadhog, so they are going to have the tools to deal with flankers.
Yeah, no May, though. No May on the United States defensive side, so whether that's a case of they just don't have anyone that plays it well enough, or whether they don't fancy it, or they're just trying a different tactic.
Talespin's a great May.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, May's almost a must-have on this first point lately. We'll see how it works out for them. Germany and themselves, they're going to go aggressive. Eisfeld, of course, with that tracer. We expect this one. Ruster will be running in with the Ana. And, of course, Artier, he's going to be looking for the flanking moves. So they've got the Genji and the tracer, so they're going to be trying to look for the mobility, try and get around. Of course, skipjack going to be leaping in with Winston, but Artier kind of went straight into the blender there.
Well, he's got no choice. He needs to find out what the US are playing, but I love this lineup from the US. Go without the May and focus on dealing with flankers. Germany bringing two of those to the party. Talespin can always switch to May later on if he has to, but the Roadhog and McCree, that sucks to play against as a tracer, and especially Genji. Both of those guys are going to have some difficulty. And notice that US are set up on this top right side, so they're ready for people to try and take alternate flanking angles in.
Well, here we go. They're going to jump straight in there, and immediately Skipjack is dealt with. And hope it would have lasted a little bit longer. RTA goes down pretty quick, and Eisfeld, well, he gets one, but completely dealt with. And, of course, United States just going to force them back there. So already see the Bartic grenade not going to be able to keep them alive. Solid defensive work. Talespin the only man to go down in that exchange for the United States, so he'll be back from spawn in no time.
Right. Germany, how do they respond to this? That's probably the big question here now. Is it a matter of what route are we taking or taking wrong? You can, as Germany, push in from this view towards the left and try and get some high ground advantage, and then maybe try and sneak your flankers into the back, but like this, right? RTA has switched towards a Reaper. You can deal with guys like Talespin, MESR, and Seagull a lot more against this triple tank comp, and you're not as easy picked off with flashes and the like. So let's see if it works out. We're going to have a pulse bomb being thrown down there. It actually gets stuck to Talespin. That's a good start. The Graviton Surge catching 3 for Germany, but lacking in follow-up. However, Ster does find INTERNETHULK off the backside. Now it's going to be a responsive Graviton Surge used with no follow-up on the US side.
He gets God's down though, so that's one of the big damage dealers dealt with. Now, can they get more from it? Seagull goes motoring through and just burns the backside of Skipjack. Eisfeld forced to back away, look for the health pack around the corner there, but he's unable to cause a big problem. Katos is forced backwards. The Lucio will get away, and Germany, well, they yet to get themselves something on the board. 2 minutes gone in this matchup already. 2 minutes to go, and Germany's struggling on the first point.
Okay, so Talespin switching over towards Tracer here as well. He might just want to try and deal with, I guess, Ruster most effectively, because now Germany have I guess they have the combo between the Reaper and the Ana, of course, and the Nano Boost and the Death Blossoms there. And the US don't actually have much to deal with that, if I'm honest with you. Adam can sort of help them disengage, but they don't have a May. So you can't just throw down a Blizzard and hope that that's enough to stop that Reaper. So now the US have to be a little bit careful now. Look, it's going to happen straight away. RT's going to go in. Let's see what he can get.
Gets the copter off straight away. Manages to take Ster and Adam down. That's both supports picked off. That is tragic for the United States. Now the question is, can Gods and MESR do the work? They get themselves one. Seagull comes in. He gets himself a kill. Skip Skipjack knocks off the side. Is it enough? I'm not sure it is. Talespin's going to work them down, and Germany get cleared off despite the support players in the United States being taken down. They hold strong and don't even get themselves a single marker on the A side.
Yeah, so if you're RTR now, you're like, come on guys, I've done the hard work, I've got rid of all of their healing, but Germany lost lives very cheaply there. Skipjack going for a long jump off a short cliff for whatever reason didn't really help things at all, especially now when Icefield had to do most of the damage. So now Graviton in, Talespin follows up with a pulse bomb. It's pretty straightforward stuff from here on out as Rusted will ultimately fall and US get the white. Germany missed their biggest window lead for actually getting onto this point in terms of their ultimates, and now they've got no choice but to just go hell for leather and try and brute force their way in.
And the problem is they got no charge whatsoever there because they just ran in and got completely stuck up straight away. So there's zero charge. You can see there's only 30 seconds on the board. They're not really going to be hitting the ultis, and now we're seeing a change. Kratos has switched over to Zenyatta, so they're hoping to try and get some discord in there, try and just brute force it, do what they can, forget the healing, get straight in there.
Yeah, I mean, against obviously this tank, this double tank comp, I guess you can try and work in a little bit more like that. Talespin takes down Icefield early on, so McCree's already out of the picture, and Kratos goes down, so that's perfect work by Talespin now, showing his versatility, getting into the backline and taking all the sting out of Germany's bite before they can actually use it. That's going to be another wipe here. Golds was the one to benefit from the nano boost here, and it'll go straight towards Icefield. I mean, it'll just be after the fact. They're adding insult to injury, but a full hold here from the United States on that first point is a very good start. Sometimes you don't need made to get the job done, Lee. You saw exactly how they crafted a composition to deal with those slippery flankers on the side of Germany, and not only did they pick the right heroes, but those heroes did their job.
A very splintered attacks from Germany as well. At no point did they really, they played that one time when they went in, obviously you saw, I think it was RTA, managed to get himself the double kill on both the supports, but that was the only time they pushed as a unit, because they're using these flankers. At no point did they arrive at the point at the same time.
Yeah, you know, RTA went
whatever
first.
positions, you know, you can flank all you like, but you need to be all arriving at that point at the same time to make it work, and at no point did that work. Obviously the pincer move is very tricky. Talespin, of course, running on the tracer, we know him as Fire, but as you can see, very, very good on the tracer. 14 eliminations and just 2 deaths, 43% weapon accuracy overall. No, not bad.
Yeah, no, for a tracer especially as well. I mean, good tracers realize that you need to get up close to actually make the most of your damage and hit things like heads and stuff like that. Hey, that's us, Lee. But yeah, so passive tracers often don't have a lot of accuracy, a lot of damage, because they're like, I don't really want to get within the zone of threat here, but you need to do that. You need to show a degree of disrespect because your damage fall off at ranges immense, of course, with tracers, pulse pistols being very, very deadly right up close and personal. So really nasty play from Talespin. Also Seagull, didn't talk about him as much as we sort of often do. You know, playing the Zarya there, top damage for his team, really played that one quite nicely. Also blocking 2k damage with his shields being put down.
But not a single death.
That's a huge amount of damage, right? 2k is about a fifth or a sixth of what Germany put out already. So, you know, those shields really are very, very important here. And I like this positioning for INTERNETHULK. I don't think he'll stay up here for very long, but it might just be a shield that he throws on towards RTR and gets him in. Oh yeah, a little bit of a different approach to setting up defensively here.
Well, let's see how it works out for Germany. They have to hold strong against the United States. The ball is indeed in the United States court. Here we go. Let's see how they're going to work out. You can see immediately Seagull's going on his trademark Genji. It's what we're used to seeing him on the stream. Let's see if we can make it work here in the pro scene. He goes around the side. Icefeld's just below. They do spot themselves the May, so they know what they're up against. They know they're going to be looking towards that split attack.
Seagull just going to reflect the dart there as well as he's able to get up close towards Rust. And not much that can be done here as well. You can see Seagull, you know, he wants to demand attention, but if he doesn't get attention, he's also happy with that one as well. Headshots with the Shuriken's definitely going to leave a mark, and Seagull's able to dash in and out of this fight. Germany cut down to only 2 players left, so US can run on in essentially on this one. They need to keep the pressure up. They've forced a staggered spawn, I guess, hierarchy here for Germany, and the more kills they get, the more they exacerbate that, the more they make it impossible for Germany to actually defend with more than 2.
Yeah, they got it, I think. Seagull's got his Dragon Blade ready and waiting to go. There's not a great deal that Germany can do. They've been cleared off. It's such a long run back from the spawn, and USA will take map number 1 on Hanamura with ease. They're going to be able to contest it just towards the end, maybe? No, not even. That's going to be easy done. Now, Seagull, let's just talk about this man. You know him. He's probably the most popular man on that team. He's very big in the streaming world. 25 eliminations. Not a single death. Played Zarya and, of course, Genji.
Yeah, I mean, switching to Genji, you're not dying there as well is obviously pretty darn important. That self-preservation aspect is the key to doing damage. Like Ster said, actually, upon joining this US team and learning how to sort of play in this kind of way, competitively at least, he said you need to put a lot more value on your own life. It's not enough to go in hell for leather, willy-nilly, and get yourself killed. You need to recognize that staying alive is going to be the key to doing as much damage as possible. But now, let's get to know a little bit more about the team that is the USA.
The guys on Team USA are feeling a lot of pressure. All of them are professional players and have huge fan bases behind them. So I know they're going to be pressing that home team advantage.
Being chosen as captain for Team USA is honestly an honor. BlizzCon is an American event, and there's probably going to be cheering for Team USA, and we feel the pressure, and we don't want to lose.
It's awesome to be here representing USA. Everyone on the team is great. Everyone's just having fun. Everyone's putting in the work to play together really well.
I know we have what it takes to win. The team has been awesome because most players already play a specific role. Determining who plays what hero basically just comes super natural. Everyone knows what to do on the heroes they play because they've been doing it for a long time.
We came together sort of like a ragtag group of individuals from across different teams. We have Talespin from Envious, MESR from Team Liquid, myself from NRG, same with Gods, and then you have Adam from Cloud9.
Team USA is big on adaptability. These guys can switch heroes at any moment, so look for big plays and clutch switches. I cannot wait to see these guys play together.
The chemistry in Team USA is incredible so far. In practice, I've never seen a team come together so quickly.
Deciding what lineups we want to use was kind of interesting. Everyone kind of knows what to do right off the bat.
There's always a couple different aspects to what makes a player proud. There's one, results, so we want to win. But the second one is we want to do it in a way that kind of shows our strengths.
Everyone can really play everything on the team, so if we run into any trouble on any maps, we can just quickly go over who can play what, who can switch to what.
I want to be creative, I want to be artsy, I want to come out with some cool stuff, make the fans cheer for us. I want to put on a good show.
Like we pointed out yesterday, creative and artsy are two things that have catapulted Seagull to popularity as a streamer. But let's see now if the US can finish the job here, heading on to a bit of a home ground league. It's going to be Route 66.
Yeah, indeed. See if it can work out for them. It was a very successful map for the US team yesterday against the Chilean team. We saw, obviously, the style, the artsy play that Seagull mentioned there. We saw some of that yesterday. He
Paint
was
me
going
like one
off.
of your French Genjis.
Indeed, indeed. Whereas Germany, well, they had a struggling time, didn't they, against Russia. It hasn't been a good tournament overall for Germany, if I'm all truthful, because they came into this one, we expected them to do well, but they've just not gelled. I don't know what it is. Obviously, they got the three tanks in there, but you know what? The meta actually fits those three tanks.
Yeah, right? That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Germany's one of the rare cases, I feel like, at this event, who are actually, we've seen them become less than the sum of their parts in this team. They are incredibly talented. Everyone in this roster has a rich history, both in Overwatch and prior to that, but they haven't managed to get the results. You know, one thing that I was hearing from the United States, which I really liked, hearing MESR say, everyone kind of plays everything in this team. And one of my concerns was actually already answered, because going into this, I wondered if Seagull's playing Xayah, who's going to have that real killer instinct on Genji? I know that Talespin can play it as a projectile player, but my question was answered in the last map. Gods was on the Xayah. He actually tweeted early in the week saying, I can't believe I haven't been playing Xayah already. She's so much fun. So he's actually picked up Xayah and played her. Now that allows Seagull to be free. So the United States have got such an incredible arsenal here, League, of different heroes and a depth of hero pool that a lot of teams can't match. But let's now jump into it here as they're going to be attacking on Route 66.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Germany, do or die time. Will you be able to keep yourselves in this tournament? Because it will be 2 wins for the United States if they were to take Route 66 and 2 losses for Germany. Something I don't think anyone back home in the motherland would have expected after picking such a well-versed, well-experienced team. But here we go. Big Earls is the man that's going to be challenged. That is the station that they are all on top of. And they're trying to go for the splintered attack. Seagull going straight in for RTA there. You see him trying to throw the hook out, but he's just getting swarmed.
Yeah, now it's going to be in big trouble there. Already had Bite a grenade on him now. Somehow, RTA are able to deal with a lot of that damage. He's staying alive for the most part. Now going to be threatened, but Seagull gets hooked in. RTA baits him in. The low health Roadhog was too juicy a trick to resist, and Seagull falls.
Yeah, it doesn't manage to catch him. Of course, stood on that 200 health pack. That just meant to keep him alive. And the United States are stopped dead. Nice hook there onto Adam from RTA. And Germany hold the first attack.
Yeah, interesting to see Icefall play the McCree here. He does play it for Luminosity, a very, very experienced hitscan player in his own right, and that'll be RTA now playing the Roadhog. So is this McCree Roadhog combo that we actually saw the US try and use against Germany in last map? They want to deal with flankers. It's an answer to Seagull, especially.
Well, Seagull's got that Dragon Blade ready to go. He's going to be looking towards it. The Graviton surges up as well, so look for the pull spot. That might follow through. Seagull's going off with the Dragon Blade. Is going to be a catch RTA down? No, not quite finishing the job, but the rest of his team have. Talespin comes around, INTERNETHULK gets picked off by Talespin. The pulse bomb goes down on skipjack, and that is Germany decimated.
Yeah, RT is having a tough time catching Seagull there as well. You saw him throw about 2 hooks in the space of that play. RT is only really hitting 1 in 3 hooks right now, which isn't really enough. I mean, you really need at least 50% or more than that. That's just as a number. But you can see that Germany actually thought about challenging here. This could be dangerously. Germany are really properly set up. You can see they're still backing away. The door opens slowly, but if anyone from the US had pushed forward, maybe just to try and catch and chase a kill, that could have been nasty.
Well, RTA is still kind of out of position at the moment. He's just sitting around the side, so they haven't got the high ground advantage. They normally get that corner position taken up. Now they're starting to flank around. Now they're starting to get back in that position, but they've kind of been left in a little bit of no man's land. You can see Skipjack still down on the low ground as well as RTA. Looking to try and get one of those side flanks. He gets himself a Winston, not ideal. Drops down and makes the most of it with the whole hog into a Graviton Surge. Is it going to be enough? Because Biotic Grenade's not going to keep him alive. INTERNETHULK's the man that comes in and picks up the kills. And thank you very much, Germany. They shut the doors and they get the hook on Talespin just to finish the juicy job.
Yeah, that's good actually, because Talespin now have to walk back a little bit further. And the fact is, Germany had a lot of ults, a big bank of them going into that fight. And good restraint. Just the Graviton Surge and the whole hog. I think a sound barrier did get used there. But Germany now have a second wave of ultimates to use. I mean, this is gross. That's one of the highest damage combos in the game right there. The Biotic Grenade, I think in a sound barrier for the United States did help them. But again, they'd never be able to withstand that. You pretty much have to lay down and accept your fate there.
Skipjack goes in. He's got to be careful. He's being flanked around the side there. And you can see Seagull. He's got his Dragon Blade ready and waiting to go. He's going to strop down and quickly deflects it back in Icefeld's face. Thank you very much. That's an easy kill. And now that's a problem for Germany because they lose one of their key damage dealers. And now the Dragon Blade is off. He goes in. He finds Ruster. Can he get himself a second? Finds RTA. Goes in looking for INTERNETHULK. He takes him down. And Skipjack, the final man standing, takes a shuriken to the forehead. And down he goes. The United States will roll on to the second checkpoint.
All just got C-wrecked there. 5 kills from Seagull. And notice that he's pathing in order to avoid RTA for the most part. He knows he needs to respect that hook. But most flanker players know when the hook's on cooldown. They know they've got a 6-second window after they see the Roadhog throw the hook out where he really can't do anything about it. The Graviton Surge being used now. That's a pulse bomb. That's going to hurt. Oh, Talespin. The damage is real. At least 4 kills over that one. Germany threw themselves at it, knowing that they'd have to desperately stop that payload from moving. But United States shut the door in their face, and they're going to leave a bruise on the eye of the Germans.
Perfect stuff from Talespin. Perfect positioning overall. Gods. Talespin all completely set that up. Look at it. Here it is again. Look at it. It's just a simple mincer. There's nothing at all Germany can do. 6-man stack in 1 point with the Graviton Surge. Immediately switches back over to the Reaper. Says, thank you very much. My ulti is used. Now let's make it useful. Moving in. The Earthshatter goes down from MESR. Doesn't catch a great deal with it. Skipjack does take down Talespin before it happens, but MESR's swinging a hammer. He's already taken down the big tank. Gets himself a second tank down as well. Seagull going off in the background. And Germany are falling left, right, and center. There's nothing they can do to stop the juggernaut of the United States rolling home.
That's what Germany tried to engage. They knew they had to be proactive and aggressive in trying to stop the US, but even after missing the Earthshatter, MESR was able to swing the hammer and get a lot of damage done. Hit no one, but after he started getting down and dirty, the kills started falling. Adam finds Russell to start this fight up, and Skipjack has himself a nano boost, but he's looking for a target, and everyone is making themselves so scarce. Skipjack didn't even see where Ster was now, but this could be nasty. Charge it! Oh, he hits it as well as a hole-in-one. He'll probably save the Earthshatter here. Doesn't really need to use it for now, but that's a big play from Skipjack and much needed reprieve here for Germany now on this last stage.
Buys them just a little bit of time, but it's 2 minutes on the marker, and you can see United States already starting to gather for it. They're going to have the big ultis coming into this next fight as well. Seagull's made the switch. He's gone over to May now. You can see the Graviton Surge just popping into position for God, so they're going to be looking to set this one up. Ster's also got that nano boost, so probably going to hit onto MESR. Instead, he just goes straight for Talespin. Talespin goes in, hits himself onto the Death Blossom. Thank you very much. That is it. Game over, surely.
They've really nicely done there by the US. So they had all the pieces of the puzzle in the right place. They just dropped them in, and they watched the fireworks go. Gods picks up INTERNETHULK now, and Kratos, he's desperately just trying to stall this one out, but very, very hard to avoid any attention. Now Icefeld will leap upon the payload for a moment to try and keep it going. Even Skipjack in towards D.Va. It's full storm mode here from Germany, trying to prolong the inevitable.
Trying to do what they can, but unfortunately, it's too little too late. I feel all the kill feed is filled with red. The United States are rolling on through. Route 66 will be all over, and it's going to be just inside a minute, 56 seconds into the time bank for the United States. Happy faces across the board. They know they've done a pretty important job. Route 66, a tricky map to finish at the best of times, and that may well have just put them through to the quarterfinals.
The reality of the situation, Lee, is that the United States have something that Germany do not. They have a Genji that is, able to pretty much control entire fights on his own without nano boost, without Zarya shield, without speed boost. Seagull is a very self-sufficient player, especially when he brings the Genji in, and that's because he's hard to predict. We talk about him being a little bit more creative about the way he plays the game, and okay, he doesn't play the same way in these games as he does when he streams, right? He doesn't do that crazy sort of stuff, but you can see how confident he is going forward. Even if there's a Roadhog, even if there's a McCree, he knows he can challenge them out. Walking up to Icefeld, knowing exactly when to hit his deflect and sort of reflecting a headshot back at that McCree player and then just going and slicing and dicing RTA. That's Seagull facing two heroes that are his direct counters with an air of nonchalance. He was very confident coming forward. And Talespin, of course, you saw what he was able to do towards the end there. I mean, a nano boost to Death Blossom is always going to be devastating, but what's even more important than that, Lee, is that not only were those elements in play for Talespin, he had a shield from Gods, he had a speed boost from Adam. That is the 4 deadly things you need to put together, and then there's pretty much nothing you can do about that combo except get the heck out of dodge. Back up. And there was no room for Germany to do that whatsoever.
Yeah, we saw a number of really good wombo combos working for the United States all throughout that attack. Obviously, you had the Cravey Graviton Surge Pulse Bomb, the almost standard combo these days, I guess you could say. All working so well. Now, Germany, it is their turn to attack. Are they going to try something funky? I doubt it. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see the Bastion for Icefeld here. You never know. Might see the Bastion train. Korea pulled it out yesterday.
This is something that Energy do.
Yeah.
And also, I think we've seen this from Lunatic High, actually. So, on this map, you can hide your Bastion. Yeah, because the enemy team, look, the defending team aren't looking at what you're doing here. They're actually sitting back because they need to. They won't know there's a Bastion until he already rounds a corner, and he'll already be trying to spray bullets over towards the US. He'll break a Reinhardt shield very quickly.
Is he going to position himself? Yes, there we go. He's on the skipjack. There we go. Standard stuff coming straight out of Alpha and Beta here. Getting straight around the corner, and immediately that shield is just whittling down. It's not a great deal. He's like, I cannot hold against this, such firepower. You cannot repel such magnitudes. But here we go, United States. They're just going to hold out on big L's. And you know what? There is a big signpost up there that will be a shield for them, and that's all they needed to use. Now, Icefeld didn't manage to get anything from that one. There's the Sleep Dart going down on Skipjack. Doesn't do any problem still. No damage dealt across the board. Look at the hit points across the top. Everybody's holding steady at the moment. Icefeld finally sets himself in a position, has to get the hell out of dodge because he's quickly getting caught out. There's going to be a flank coming around. Talespin tries to cause some problems, but Bastion will take him down, and Icefeld gets himself the first kill of the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a comp for Germany. They want the US to engage, right? They have a Roadhog to deal with flankers. They want to use the Bastion as a big, juicy piece of bait, and then they can collapse upon the US. But smart by the US, they're not falling for it. They just sort of sent Talespin around the side. A little bit risky, perhaps, but I mean, getting a hook into a Bastion and picking him up, that would have been the job done already, right? The fact, though, that Icefeld was able to take him 1v1 in recon mode is going to mean that tank configuration is not far away for the Bastion.
Gods has got himself his Deadeye ready and waiting. He gets Ruster, picks him off around the side there. As soon as they get caught up, that's perfect for the Deadeye, but he just doesn't need to use it because the rest of his team are landing the kills. Gods gets himself the left click onto Skipjack, and Ster gets himself a quick double in there as well, getting himself on the board.
Yeah, Ster's been playing really well so far. I mean, those are support ults being used there. We saw Sound Barrier, we saw Nano Boost being used. That's about it. Talespin switched directly over towards the D.Va. So he, with the defense matrix, can give his team quite a large window where they are not going to take any damage from the Bastion whatsoever. That's going to allow him to facilitate someone to get to the Bastion itself. So Gods can sort of 1v1 if Talespin has a defense matrix there. Just like we talked about Bromas in the earlier game, how he set up Harry Hook on that D.Va. Same idea counts.
Well, they're walking straight into a Graviton Surge. They've got themselves stacked up, but it's only caught 3 of them out here. It isn't as bad as it was yesterday. Obviously, we saw the Genji going through with Reformer Seagull. Talespin, of course, coming in on the D.Va, trying to catch them out there. God's getting the left clicks going. Peacemaker doing some serious work. He's going to catch out Rosta as he tries to dash for the health pack. Not going to work out. Germany forced back once again.
Seagull, very clever from him. He actually shot a Graviton Surge across the gap on the upper side of the wall. That means that Germany gets sucked upwards and they can't use the little stalagmites, the ones obviously that pick up on the ground, to hide behind. That means that Gods just sits back, channels Deadeye, gets 2 very easy kills. Nicely placed, and something it's good to see Graviton Surge is not always placed right on top of people. Here's the tank, though.
Well, they're going to try and go for a configuration tank from Icefeld. Is it going to work out? No. Sleep Dart comes in, and then he's just slammed out the side by MESR. Good night. But RTA manages to save the day. Icefeld still didn't get taken down. He's still around the side there. Now he gets dropped. There's going to be the self-destruct getting thrown out. Graviton Surge pops around the side. Talespin tries to get straight in the face. He gets Sleep Darted. Then he gets desuited. INTERNETHULK swinging away. There's going to be Skipjack catching him on there. The hook not quite landing, but Germany might well have just done it. They get pinned in the air by Seagull, but there was no follow-up this time. And unfortunately, Gods, he's trying to do the left clicking. MESR's managed to get themselves double kill.
Yeah, he missed the Earth Shatter, but he's able to still follow up on the backside of it now as well. And God, look at that. He's going to get the nano boost here as well. That McCree's going to be running red hot around this map, looking for now in the background. It's going to be Artier. Gets punched out, and even Ruster very, very close to falling himself. He did go down, ultimately there to Gods. Nicely played there as well. Germany looked to be making some progress here, but the sad reality is, Lee, their ace in the hole was the Bastion tank.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, even with the nano boost, because he got put to sleep and then charged. That is at least 4 to 5 seconds of not being able to do anything. In fact, they could have let him sleep even longer. Perfect response from the US to nullify that big threat. And now, last few moments, 1 second remains. God's going to take down Artier. Ruster, they're going into the payload here. Germany need to contest, but they've got to keep themselves healthy as well. It's going to be a nano boost going out over towards INTERNETHULK up on the top side here. He's going to try and turn this in their favor.
Trying to get on the towards Gods. Can he get enough? He manages to take Gods down. INTERNETHULK in the background, trying to do some serious work here, but he's getting forced so low. He doesn't have primal rage. He's going to get himself on towards the second one. Can't get him down. Seagull burns him down from up on high, and this will be the United States clearing out Germany, taking it in a clean 2-0. They're preventing them from hitting the very first point on Route 66, as they did on Hanamura. And it was all easy work for the United States, and Germany look to be bowing out early here at the Overwatch World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it does appear that Germany won't be making it out of the group stage, which is a big shame. And we talked about how strong they are individually and the history, the richness of that behind the players, but they weren't able to put it together. That happens a lot of the time in teams in esports. Sometimes you can have the best team, but if you don't gel, if it doesn't work, then you have to accept that and move on. Obviously, conversely, for the US, they're working very, very well, but I know who else is working very, very well. It's Seltzer and the crew on the desk, guys. What do you have to say on this one?
Wow, we have a lot to say. Thank you so much, Uber and D-Man. That matchup was really, really cool for fans of USA. I think Seagull only died 2 times between 2 maps.
It's insane. So here's the thing is that we say that the Overwatch World Cup is a celebration. Well, that last series was a celebration of Seagull. You cannot have a better series than what he just had.
Yeah, I mean, his first 2 games here, I mean, the one against Chile that we casted yesterday, and then this one, he's just been absolutely dominant.
Yeah, this is our updated group standings. USA at the top of the group. Looking great. I'm proud of them. Good job, boys.
You know, I mean, Russia coming up next against Chile has an opportunity to go 2-0, so they can match USA at the top. That'll be a fantastic match. But, I mean, USA just on Hanamura to start things off, I mean, they were just so good. I mean, 97-22 in terms of kills, and that was the one, Jason, that you said USA was worried about.
Yeah, and which is kind of going to be a tough match for them, I think, when they play against them later on. But I want to point out a couple of things, because we kind of skimmed over the analysis, but there were some key points in the match that actually happened that kind of determined how things went. So the first clip we're going to look at is involving Germany successfully having a good attack. And for the most part, they really struggled at having an attack that was on their own terms, and that's where you see teams can really excel. So this one I want to point out started off with a hook that came in out of R tier onto MESR. Pulls him in, takes in a half HP, immediately pops his whole hog. But as we play the clip, you can see the whole hog be used, the Graviton surge, and most importantly, the Bauer grenade off the back of that to completely eliminate any healing. And even with the sound barrier being used out of Adam, it just wasn't enough. The problem was for Germany is that they didn't have the opportunity to make these fights happen time and time again. They were always aggressed on later on that point alone. We saw them group up in the high ground, got pulse bombed down by Talespin and completely demolished.
The big thing for Germany is that overall they seemed out of sync. These are all very good players that are on Germany. We've seen them have success in the pro scene, but it just feels like something is lacking with their coordination, and they really have not been able to turn the corner, and it's been their bane this entire exhibition thus far.
And coming into the second half of Route 66, we saw Germany invest into the Bastion play, trying to make something happen off of that. And when they finally got a nano boost to take form Bastion, which we're going to see here on this replay, you're going to see exactly what happens. America had the perfect response to it. So we're going to see him actually go in eventually. And from that, as we can start the replay here, he gets onto the high ground with a nice rocket jump, perfectly well done by him. But the problem is, he's got a shield to compete with. He's got Ster off to the side he's trying to take down, who gets Zarya shielded up, and Earthshatter comes in and then charged away. They had an answer for the entire linchpin of how Germany was trying to successfully make this attack work.
And to just go back to some of the things that we saw with Germany, it's like you saw like the ideas, right? Like right there, just get shut down by good USA. You saw the first replay where they had everything going. It's just they could not get that consistently time and time again together.
And the key there, too, is when you look at USA, I mean, clearly they have good shot calling going on, because as soon as that tank came out, everyone backed out. They didn't stay place. They didn't try and fight it. They backed out. They waited for the CC to come in, and they went from there. So USA clearly is working on just a higher level of teamwork than a lot of other teams are right now in the exhibition.
And to be fair to Germany, like, they're a team full of great players. I know I criticized Rush yesterday, but he actually plays a ton of Ana. The problem is like when you're not playing necessarily the role you normally play within a team, it's a completely different environment from solo queue compared to playing in an actual match. I'd say over on the US side, they got a little bit more lucky in terms of who got voted in because you have so many people who can flex to so many different roles, but you got people playing like their main role, which gives you such a huge advantage when you're playing these matches.
Well, I feel like in an exhibition like this, like somebody like Seagull who can play like Genji, and then also you saw him play like Zarya, like he can play so many different heroes. Like somebody like that is so much more valuable in an exhibition like this because you have some players that, you know, they get drafted in and whatnot, they're very comfortable on like 1 or 2 heroes. Having somebody who can switch over to multiple different ones, so important.
Well, not only that, but they seem to come up with compositions that we're not used to seeing on these maps. We had no Mei on defense for Hanamura. We had some interesting choices, including a Diva here on Route 66. So tell me about that, CP.
So you do have interesting compositions going in there. I think the most interesting thing comp-wise is that Germany didn't really have an answer for the Genji. We did see Icefeld on the McCree, but he wasn't having a good game. And that's the power of having a good Genji player on your team, is that even though Genji has his counters, it requires a good game and a lot of skill to actually counter a Genji like Seagull. Unfortunately for Germany, they didn't have anyone that could play at that level to actually neutralize
Well, that's what's weird about it. You have 2 really good McCree players, but did we see McCree often? Not really. Maybe that's just kind of the style Germany wanted to go into it, play fast, aggressive like they did in Hanamura. But either way, yeah, like you're saying, like I feel like I've said this about Genji versus McCree. If you have them both at equal skill, the Genji will still win just based off Genji's kit. So if you're going to be McCree to counter a Genji, you have to be a lot better than the Genji player. And as we saw Seagull on Genji, it's going to be really hard to do that.
Yeah, the most successful thing we saw, I think, Germany do against the Genji and, you know, was Ardier on Roadhog. Right. He was actually able to grab him out of the air. Sometimes you just saw Seagull go, okay, fine, I'm going to avoid him, and it was never a problem for him again.
Yeah, I mean, Seagull only dies 2 times on Route 66. I mean,
that's in series.
That
includes
Hanamura.
The
entire series includes Hanamura. So, I mean, yeah, he doesn't die at all in Hanamura. I mean, just as a Genji player to stay alive that long, I mean, obviously it's great support from your teammates as well, but it's just great positioning from Seagull, too.
And Seagull was also instrumental to that Hanamura defense where, as mentioned, he didn't die at all, Hanamura, and there were points where Germany was close to breaking through. Artier did have a good nano boost. Death Blossom then went on. Seagull was able to avoid that, stayed in the back, and bought enough time for the rest of USA to get in there and re-solidify.
And watching Seagull have 2 deaths across the entire series really makes me sad for my own gameplay. I just wish I had 2 deaths in 30 seconds. Like, that's how bad I am.
Just so impressive, especially playing Genji. So
I'm not queuing with you ever. You sound awful.
I don't want you to come out with Torbjorn only.
Hey, man, that's not me.
Oh,
It's
well.
not me.
He wins with Torbjorn, though.
Good point.
I do.
Guys, that was USA versus Germany, an incredible matchup. Now we are going into Russia versus Chile. I can't wait to see how this match turns out. We'll see that right after this break.